Okay, so then I guess we will call the meeting to order. It's about 4:06. Is that clock right? That's why I'm looking.
Might be a little fast.
Close enough.
Yeah,
4:05.
4:05.
Yep. Okay, and first part of our meeting is going to be to meet with you folks. So I think we'll turn the floor over to you to begin the discussion or the conversation and see where that goes. Or
Right?
would you rather wait a minute or so for your other person to join?
No, I think we're good to start.
Okay.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes. Okay.
Can you guys all hear?
Yeah.
All right. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for meeting with us today. This should be a brief discussion. We just wanted to check in with you and provide you with a brief update of the study that we've been doing. We are working on the report and we have established some basic design parameters in terms of the design flow rate and the resulting on-site treatment size. The design flow rate that we have estimated is around 35,000 gallons per day, which based on our estimate results in an on-site treatment system or soil-based disposal system of size approximately 92,000 square feet, which is about 2 acres of area. Now, considering an on-site storage tank and setback requirements, the total land area that would be needed would be approximately 3.5 acres of land area is what we're looking at. So
Is it okay if I ask a question?
no, sure, yes.
If there was for instance, right next to the village, if there was something installed close by here, or wherever, that's what you're talking about. If it was, an independent system, just us on our own.
For a centralized leach field system, right? That's what we're looking at for a combined treatment system. And that's why we're having this discussion because we want to be sensitive about what parcels might be possible candidates that could be used as a future treatment system, and we wanted to get your input and direction on how we might approach this aspect of the report and before drafting any illustration or bringing up any maps and including them in the report.
Yeah, so where does the awareness conversation, do the test polls for water table come in?
So yeah. We, based on the soils map, we have identified a couple parcels without really having any detailed soil evaluation report. But we have to shortlist a few candidates before we even move forward to test bits. I can bring up the map.
I guess while you're doing that too, another question that comes up for me is that do you have access to the information regarding the land that's in conservation, the easements that would not be available, which is all the land south of the village and east of the village?
Yes, and we had discussed some of that during our 30% planning meeting too. There are environmental constraints, including the conserved lands, which is going to be a big limitation using parts of those parcels for treatment system. So it shouldn't overlap with the conserved lands. It's been a while I've used Zoom. We're pretty used to using Teams. So it's asking me to request sharing for this meeting.
Also, because you're the with the host, but we need to give her permission.
Yeah, let me try. Okay, I think it works now. Can you see the screen okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is based on the soil maps that we have. The areas that are light green shaded, that are Vermont protected lands, are the conserved lands that we were talking about earlier, Jake. And I know we had talked about the town garage being a potential parcel for the treatment system, but because of the large area that we are looking at, um, our primary assessment is that the town garage parcel is not going to work out, or it's not going to be feasible for a treatment system of this size.
Yeah, the lots are too small, plus it's wet.
Yeah.
That and the soils are also not conducive to a disposal system. And then we had identified these two parcels. I mean, this one big block that the 168 acre parcel, it includes, it's part of the big parcel, which half of it is overlaps with the conserved land, but the highlighted blue section over here is not conserved. So this is again, this is based on the soil maps that we're looking at this at one of the potential parcels.
So I'm trying to
That's all,
see, that's on, is
that's
that,
in your land.
yeah, that's in my farm, that's all conserved.
You ever put that in land trust, Dave?
Yep.
The land that I told you?
Oh, are you over there? That's
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, they're by the auction house.
Yeah, it's not
That's Cemetery Road.
correct, so yeah, that line's not conserved,
Not conservative,
Yeah.
but water table is 4 feet deep at the most.
but it's in land use.
There is not.
Yeah. Yeah, the parcel way on the edge is 797, that's on.
Yeah, you got 30,
That's
you got about what,
30, around
32
30,
acres there.
yeah, 32 acres, which is not conserved. Yeah. But when you're. Okay, yeah, I got my bearings.
The other side of
I was
the
thinking,
the truckers company that is in barely wrong. Is that across the road?
Yeah,
right. But that's also at the bottom, that's all wet, and then it's.
Yeah, it's all wet.
So,
so the water table with the auction house, we hit water there about 3 to 4 feet. And then-
same as all my fields, same thing, 3 feet, you get
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's,
I see Kevin's here. Just to bring you up to speed, Kevin, we just talked about the lane area.
hey, Kevin,
Uh,
welcome.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I had some technical difficulties. So I see you're talking about the land. Go ahead, Kellyanne.
Yes, just the overall area required, and we're looking at the potential parcels solely based on the soil maps.
Okay. Yeah, we just wanted to be sensitive about what we show as prospective areas, lands to be used without making sure we had, direction from you and, consent from owners. We don't want people to show up to a meeting and get surprised, what do you mean you're using my land? That kind of a thing. So we wanted to make sure we were communicating with you and get some direction as to, what approach we might take for potential candidates for land use.
Wouldn't it make sense before we, go much further on that? is to get some borings. To know, we kind of know, I mean, that's my land right there, that biggest chunk. And Richard used to own it before. We know that the water table is very close there.
3 to 4
Yeah.
feet.
And if your borings rule that out, we probably shouldn't even be talking about it as a potential.
Yeah, well, that's a great, yeah, there's no question that, we'd have to do some site testing, depth of groundwater and different things. And that's, you kind of answered my first question because you said that's your land and you're a willing participant. So as long as it's, that's my first concern is that we're looking at only land where the landowner is consenting, right?
Consenting to borings.
Or to at least being considered as an option,
Well, I'm
let's
not
say.
sure. Didn't get that far yet. But I think I'd certainly consent to having somebody doing some test borings there to just kind of,
Okay.
we just, what we already know. And I'm not sure, what that might mean as far as.
Water table's pretty high.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah. I have
Okay.
a problem with somebody doing any borings there. The other thing is that's all zoned, I think it's all zoned rural agricultural
Yeah.
or something, so,
So going ag.
yeah. It's prime ag land.
Are we talking about what is it, about 169 acre parcel on the east of Route 100?
Let's see, so this is kind of like back to the villages up there, this is.
This is really our.
East, yeah, that's the parcel I'm talking about. I don't own across
Okay.
Right here.
across Route 100, but yeah,
Who's this one?
but that's not,
That's Darryl.
that's Darryl LeBlanc. But that piece but I say that I own there, it's not as big as what you're saying. So it's only like 30, the one that I own a lot more land contiguous there, which would make that 168 probably, but that particular piece that's highlighted in blue. Not the narrow part, but the bigger part is about 32 acres.
32.
Yeah.
30.
Okay. Should we, so what are your thoughts on, should we call that our preferred parcel, or should there be other candidate parcels that could perhaps be, under consideration?
Kind of goes back, I mean, I think when we first started having conversations. One of the first things that was gonna happen is some test borings to see where the water table is, and to my knowledge, that hasn't happened yet. So I think to put any parcel as a possible candidate might be getting the cart in front of the horse.
Well, yeah, but again, before I don't want to go and show somebody's parcel like, hey, we're thinking about using your parcel for, we need, let me back up a step too. Part of the reason we contacted you is because we got a little further. We've done our sizing and sampling. I don't know how much Kellyanne already covered this, but we need probably something in the neighborhood of at least 3 acres for this treatment leach field, plus storage tank. And if it's if we end up getting into a mound system or any other, components, it could be more. Okay, so call it 3 to 5, but we're thinking like at least 3 acres. I don't want to show up at a public meeting and have a report and have figures on it where I'm showing shading on somebody's parcel and say, hey, we think this is a really good spot for a community leach field, and blindside them. And if it is a good parcel, then, would we do testing and depth of groundwater and soil type and boring? Yeah, absolutely. But you know what I'm saying? I want to avoid any problem. I don't want to, like, we can look at this and we have done that. We've looked at it and come up with a few parcels. We go, hey, this might be pretty good. But I don't want to, Gerard and Rosemary, I'll pronounce this wrong.
Yeah.
Jose?
You got it pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. From an engineering standpoint, maybe. But I don't know their feeling on this, and I don't want to have them walk into a public meeting and we've shaded that their parcel and they go, what are you talking about? I don't know anything about that. You know what I mean? I don't want to create that type of um consternation by doing that without, and that's why we thought the best way is to kind of talk to you a little bit and make sure before we start, narrowing this down or identifying possible candidate parcels that we, um, share with you, the parcel, the kind of size that we're looking at and get some feedback, some direction from you as to, what are our options here.
Seems like the other side of Route 100, like,
The other side of 100 is,
would be, it's a higher elevation.
Yeah, it is.
it's heavy soil there.
How high can you go? Like,
Yeah, you get into pumping type situations. Yeah.
So,
And near the bottom of it, or the northernmost part where the line's diagonal, that's right in the wetland.
yeah,
I mean, that's wetter than my side across the road.
Yeah. And not to mention the conservation easement areas.
I don't know if Daryl's line is considered or not, anybody want
I don't think it is.
I don't think
It's
so.
a show.
Yeah.
He's got probably a 10, 12 acre, 15 acre lot, I mean, less than his house and garage.
But then, the down.
He's higher up, he would have to pump it up.
Yeah.
But that's high, but anyway.
So,
So what's the water table, does it matter if the water table is 3 feet or 4 feet?
Yeah, it's not good. You got it. Usually you're looking at minimum 3 feet from bottom of leach field trench to water table or seasonally high groundwater table. But it's possible you get into a mound system. So it doesn't necessarily, high groundwater doesn't necessarily rule it out, but it's not great.
well, that's what that is.
When I built the auction house, the big building there, we hit water when I did the foundation. We hit water, it was probably, well, we had a 4 foot frost wall. In the footing, but we hit water, we had to pipe it off. Because it was running steady. It was like a vein of water that we hit, we had to pipe it.
That's the narrow
That
rectangular.
narrow
piece
section
that you
there,
see.
there is a mound system behind the building. We've all been approved with the state of Vermont and everything, but. The water table is about 3 to 4 feet there in that area when you're talking about.
Once you stand down, it's not more stuff.
It's what?
that's
NEI.
NEI,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah,
That's NEI now.
that's where my auction used to be at now.
Yeah, we just did one in South Hero and the same thing, water was about 3 feet down and we had to, we got permitted from Vermont DEC for it. We had to go with the mound system. It takes a little more land and a little more fill, building those mounds.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of fill.
Yeah.
Field flood at one point. Make it
We
flood right
had,
out.
we had flooded in 97 when the brook flooded, and then the bridge flooded, that whole. Left of the road was all underwater and my fields got, well, I don't know about yours, you were farming back then, weren't you?
Yeah,
I don't know if it did there, but all the other ones behind the village, there was like 6 inches a month.
yeah, because the cover,
Yeah, from out of
could
the
have
mountain.
covered that, plugged up in the road
Yeah.
on 100.
And
It
that
wasn't
could-
too bad down on that end.
was it? Yeah, but where the Roger Odette's house there.
Yeah, that was- yeah, that was
all
bad.
underwater.
That was on the world, yeah.
Which is pretty close to that.
Well, he went over the road there.
Yeah.
He did go over the road 100, pretty low down there, yeah.
That's the only time I know of that it's ever happened.
That is,
So, I mean, it sounds like you're giving. Your opinion of one option. How far are you into looking at other options?
Well, really just asking what your thoughts are about where we can put this thing, and give it, understanding that, it's maybe a little bigger lot than maybe all of us conceived of initially. But just trying to get your kind of thoughts and guidance on where you think possible options in terms of landowners might be.
You wanna look at the map?
The best part was where I had the auction house, where they had put that building, was behind the auction house, but that was a good area for it, but down below that, it's kinda little, a little different soil down below that.
Yeah.
We did do some tests back in 2004. We did some testing in that whole field. You know, the best spot to build.
Where all the trailers are now.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as from my perspective, as the owner of that tract there, even if I'm not as aggressive with farming now as I did all the rest of my life, I really don't like to give up any good ag land because you just can't make it anymore. You know, you take it out of production, it's never gonna come back. People are gonna still need to eat ongoing.
Yep.
And not making any more farmland, So that's why I'm asking, like, whatever options might surface that could be on the table potentially, even the option that some of us talked about early on, of potentially teaming up with Troy. I know there's some hurdles to get over there, if that was the case too, that would be crossing. That would have to be pumped and crossing some ag land, but at least once the pipe's installed, then it's back to.
Usually you put it in the road, on the side of the road.
Yeah, but once it's underground.
Well, it's on the ground, you're back to ag land.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
be much more in favor of having a trench dug in my field and put back to field than to give up 3, 4, 5 acres of prime ag land.
Right.
That's
Right.
just, I mean, I haven't had any time to think about this except since we've been sitting here, so. I'm not
Well, and
I'm not saying
know,
carte blanche that I would not ever approve that, but I'm just telling you some of my feelings here we're talking about.
sure. Yeah, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but we started doing our cost estimates, and it is looking like comparatively the pumping to the pump station is going to be the more cost effective option, both in initial capital and significantly less cost in the long-term operation maintenance. But we'll spell all that out later. We just wanted to kind of make sure we're on the same page with you in terms of this whose property type of a question before we go too far. Kellyanne, it looked like you were flashing the GIS map up there. Is that?
Yes.
But now we're seeing your email.
Can you see my screen? Can you see it on? I just shared the GIS map.
No, you're showing your email right now.
Oh, okay. Let's see. As I was telling earlier, I'm not quite used to using Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Can you see the map now?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. All right, let's start with Jacques' big parcel. Can you highlight that one? Just to make sure we're all. Yeah, okay. So that's the one I called 169 or some.
Yes.
So that's the one we're talking about with regards to your. Okay. And what others? The people, I hear some things being kicked around. Any other notions as to
Anything
possible?
that you go with, you're gonna have to pump it. Looks like on a gate.
Well, I don't know what anything else might be. I mean, if it means Troy, yeah. I mean, all that land is pretty flat there.
Yeah.
If you went over towards Darrell's, it would be up. And then I don't know what other options there are. If you were just talking here, but if you were to go up North Hill and then there's that field that I just bought from Alice.
That's water.
But that's
Water section.
yeah, it's what do they call it, headwater,
Water head, or not, what do you call
Yeah,
that?
right, so the town water system is just below it, so that's out of the question. Then there's the piece that, my ops piece that Isman just bought,
Mhm.
that. That soil would be probably pretty good, but that would be pumping up the hill.
Yeah, you're gonna build a house with it.
Yeah, I know, so that's not bad, it's not a
What-
good. That's if you were going up North Hill. On the left, there's that, you can see it right there, it's about a 3.5 acre field, that little, keep going left with your arrow. Whoops, you went too far. Go back closer to the highway, not highway, but the
You're on it.
North Hill, you're just about on it right there, it's kind of almost got a greenish look.
This one?
No,
Just,
just
just
below
below
that,
it.
Okay.
This one?
that one,
Yeah.
That's Stephen Myatt.
yeah, well, more, I think, but it's.
He's going to-
Yeah.
One more down.
For that,
It belongs to Larry Hisman now,
this one right here.
One close to the road.
yeah, it's right on the road.
No,
That's the one I did.
And I
the one
paid that for
right there,
50
yes.
years, so
There
you
you know, that's a really good soil.
it's
Probably not even worth talking about it.
He's gonna build a house and then he's already got plans of building a house over there.
Well,
I think he's getting his permit right now, I'm not 100% sure, but he's working on it.
That's probably one of the soil types
Yeah.
right there. I mean, of all that we can see.
But that's not more than what, three,
It's three, I think 3 point something acres, the land.
3.9.
3.9.
Okay. Yeah,
yeah, he's already planted some trees up there. Planning on building a house in that lot, so that's probably out of the question.
So that's the kind of thing. So, you know,
Then you
I
gotta
don't-
pump it up.
well, you got to pump it up, right? Different and then, I don't want to be in a good example of one. We don't want to be in a public meeting and your engineers stroll in here with these plans. We're like, oh, we're going to put a treatment system over here on Mr. Myatt's land. And Stephen goes, what? What are you talking about? I don't know anything about this. I'm building housing over there. What are you talking about?
Has anything been approached with Troy, with their pumping station in Troy? Just before you get to the village, there's a pumping station right there.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any further communication since the first outreach where it was confirmed that they have adequate capacity. There would have to be an agreement, of course. And in fact, they're like lacking capacity. They're below their design flow rate and would actually welcome additional flow.
Yeah,
But-
that's the verbal thing that wasn't our official commitment, but it was definitely the verbal message we got when we had met. It was Pat and I that met with them.
Yeah.
A few years ago now. And they were like excited to hear that we were interested. Potentially looking at with that.
So, getting behind the single view, they got a big mound system there, and it's not big enough for what they got. How many acres they own yet? Behind the single view,
You see that line, that's it,
that's it?
yeah.
So they don't own much, probably 3 acres at the most.
Yeah,
The border you-
the fence borders my fields and it's right in close by.
Yeah. What kind of soil is that there?
Not a heck of a lot different.
Yeah, really.
No, it's all about the
Well, the
same,
village is in the water, I mean, the water table in there too.
yeah.
Any other brainstorm ideas of any other possible locations?
Don't think of any.
No.
Let's find out where to go.
Is it completely cost prohibitive to have to pump it uphill?
No, not necessarily.
Troy does.
Yeah, there's probably a good chance that some pumping may be involved in any case. So no, it's not completely cost prohibitive. But obviously it's just one more component,
What about behind Daryl LeBonc's?
You mean up in the woods?
No, on
I
that
think behind
flat,
his garden,
that flat piece there
behind his
that
garden.
crosses over to, near
The brook is right through there.
near the storage
Smith.
place.
Yeah,
Yes,
Smith.
behind Smith.
So if you click on his map, you'll see that and he don't own that much land over there.
Smith,
He's right there.
little narrow path, ain't it?
Which one are we talking about now?
Keep on going north,
South,
I mean south, yeah.
the last
South and
lot,
100.
The one you had earlier. Across, yeah, right there.
okay, and then Smith is a long, the cemetery road.
This one?
Yeah, how many acres is that?
Yeah. The brook will get through more.
It's 19 acre.
So the only thing you could do there would be behind his garage. I mean, that's pretty flat and big, eh?
Above, behind there.
Yeah, yeah. Behind his garage.
I don't know what the soil's like up there.
I don't know either.
There's a piece that's right between there on the edge and where the fence line is. And Heather Johnson and Bruce.
Yeah, so that's a piece of land that I think Mark McAllister used to, I don't know if he's still on that, where there's like a fence road there.
That's Richard Smith, isn't it?
I think
You're
it's,
talking about,
I think it's Heather.
Yeah, maybe that's the land Johnson, but
Yeah.
belongs to some.
Can you see when I point to this?
No,
on your,
When you guys is in? No? I can do it on here.
No.
Maybe
Which
Put your mouse on it, are you able to put your mouse on?
we,
Your mouse.
so
Who owns this piece right here where my mouse is?
that's Billy. Really?
what's an odd piece, isn't it? Yeah. Who owns that? Who owns that?
Trying to see if I can.
Who owns it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've given you the control, LaDonna. See if you can move your cursor on your end.
There you go, is that you?
Me,
Yeah,
That right there.
this piece,
Oop, I go down to it. Oop, now you're
Right
lost.
there.
right there.
You see that?
She's coming.
no, we're not.
Not seeing it?
I don't, well, I see the mouse, but you're still on Jacques' property there.
That's my
oh, that's.
cursor.
Oh.
It says
The
Yeah,
other
it's
one.
waiting for LaDonna to control your screen. Okay, now LaDonna is controlling the screen.
Right here.
Yeah.
There.
If you click on that, that's it, yeah, maybe that's the best way.
Oh, Maureen.
This one?
Oh,
okay, yes.
Possibility. Mr. Hareen, he lives in California.
Alvarine.
Okay.
It's
fine.
almost 11 acres.
Yeah.
It's odd shape.
That's pretty hilly there.
That back part's flat, isn't it? Isn't that back part flat?
Yes,
Right, like right,
West Hill, isn't it?
right here.
Oh,
That's well up there, plenty, there's a road a little bit to there. The road is out above that.
well, there's a field from Daryl's that goes straight across into that. You see it? So it's gotta be flat there somewhere. It can't be very hilly. Cause Daryl's old back pasture goes all the way back into that. You can see it's all flat right there, behind Daryl's garage.
Cunningham,
Good.
the trailer used to be on the, they own that whole lot.
The one above it.
That's where the house, but the trailer don't go, it's pretty hilly the first hill. Then the second hill where it mounted, where that building is right there, it's quite a hill there.
Has anyone had any contact with either Mr. Foreen or Daryl Blanc regarding the possibility of this type of use of their land?
No, but I have contact information for Mr. Hareen.
Okay.
is there a way that you can get a topographical map of that to get a feel for what it really is?
Yes, we have, I believe we have LiDAR imagery with something like 1 foot contours. So yeah,
And does that show, also show wetland or, sometimes just because something's high elevation doesn't necessarily mean it's, I don't know that piece at all. I've never been up there, so I can't.
It's hilly from Mike, you remember driving up there,
It's
a
good.
couple weeks ago.
Where do you?
You go up by, Quayside, across that road, you drive up toward
You mean?
Cunningham trailer there, yeah.
yeah. There's a little bit of wetland on and near Mr. Hareen's, and there's just a little bit around the perimeter of Daryl's property. So there's plenty of room in there, at least from the wetland perspective. The grade is Daryl's is mostly relatively flat, maybe 10 feet over the course of a few hundred. And Hareen's got a little more grade, especially at the south end. More of a hillside there.
Yeah. Which one is
I don't
Daryl's property again?
the long skinny one to the left of, yeah, right there. The weird, yeah, long skinny weird shaped one.
Daryl is, if you look at the junction of Cemetery Road and Route 100, Daryl's right across from that.
Yeah, not that to the left, Kellyani.
That's a single house,
Yeah.
single building, you see.
Right. Yeah, his frontage is Carmel Road. It's got that bend in it. It's like a dog leg. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's Horeen.
Maureen.
That's sweet. Also, he's the right away up Carnell Road.
Yeah,
So
He just
that-
paid for the majority of the culvert on,
Is he?
on Carmel Road.
you did,
Mhm.
Why is that?
He's a nice guy.
got worked out 2, 3 times.
Well, how would he be responsible for the majority of it?
He owned the right away, part of it.
He's a nice guy.
You might have the money, nobody else wanted to do it, so.
He
there we go.
wanted to help the people up there. He hasn't been here for years.
That's
Okay.
a private road, so if we were to, let's just, talking way ahead here right now, but if that became the chosen spot, and if we were to do that. That's a private road, I guess, because we own the land, we probably have access to that road, that what that means, I mean. If that's the access to that lot.
Yeah, that Carmel Road, you mean?
Yeah,
That's a private road, right? Yeah, that
Because, once.
Yeah.
Once a system is built, it needs to be very accessible anytime.
yeah, and that hill, depends on
Right.
the system, I'm going up that hill, nobody will get up there in the winter time. It's
Yeah.
pretty steep, you been up there.
yeah, you'd have to
Okay.
you'd have to secure an easement for both where the treatment works is and then access with some frontage to a public road.
I think there would be a better spot. Or even past the Roselles where Roselle owns that field too. That's further down. Where right there, that big field right there, next one down.
This one?
Yeah, they own that, Roselle owns that. They just put a warehouse there,
Which you see in the lower right corner of that.
so
lot.
they got a good chunk of land there.
That's that much better soil than my property. It's fine for that kind of.
Yeah, that's better soil.
Yeah.
That's good soil there,
And Roselle owns that whole piece.
Roselle owns the whole piece.
I mean, as a corporation, I don't think it's very important to own that anyone would be. I mean, it's part of not being farmland.
Yeah, and had they talked about subdividing that? Did they ever do that?
They wanted to, they had a hard time getting the first permit for the building,
Yeah.
they had a hard time getting a permit for the warehouse. Well, yeah, because the people across the road gave them a hard time.
But you're big over.
We can bring power there.
You're a big part of it.
Go Farmers got power there. We can get power there.
No problem.
Yeah, that's getting a little bit further from the village, but it still may be a better option, certainly, more accessible.
Well, if you can buy a chunk of land, they want to subdivide it, we can buy a chunk of land and then you'd have your own land.
So how big is that field?
I believe it's,
Well, didn't somebody just
so
say?
they got the lot there, they can tell how many acres is that?
Roselle, are we talking
this is
Roselle still?
Yeah,
Yeah, 13
13.
acres.
So you're taking most of that, half of that field. Or a third of that field.
just option. So that'd be a better option right there, I think. Fire up.
That would definitely beach a lot better than the rest of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the goat farmer's got power in the corner. I mean, the reason why they don't have power across the road, because the farmer across the road didn't want to let them use the easement, but I don't know why. They can get power there.
We've been telling them. Berkeley.
Yeah, Berkeley.
Huh.
Berkeley gave me a hard time for that,
I,
for that permit to build that warehouse. And they would have done the factory there. They would have moved the factory down there. They wanted it at one time.
Well,
Would have been good for the town.
if there would have been,
They had such a hard time to get that permit
to do it for the power.
for everything. I mean, it's first time.
So, okay, so that's good. That's I guess a few parcels that are maybe candidates. I guess we could handle, as far as the report in the next public meeting, we could handle it one of like 2 or 3 different ways. We could just base, and keeping in mind it's just a feasibility study, it's not a design or anything else. But we could just make the assumption like, hey, we're going to use Jacques' parcel at least as a comparative for the local on-site treatment alternative. And we could even write that, other properties or nearby properties that fit the bill, could be potential alternative candidates, but for the purpose of comparative design and estimating, not design, but estimating an alternatives evaluation, we just made this assumption. Another option would be we could kind of leave it open-ended, maybe just draw a large circle with a, I don't know, 1,000-foot diameter or something, say, hey, we're looking for a location somewhere in here. Makes it hard to do an estimate because you don't really know some of the things about, okay, exactly where, not exactly, but generally where are we going to put this? Or 3, we could include like another possible candidate, like for example, the Daryl LeBlanc or the Roselle. But in that event, I think it would be prudent to contact them first and just explain like, hey, we haven't made any decisions, but just for comparative estimating, we're contemplating this, and would you be open to it? And do you mind if we do an evaluation of what it would take to, use your parcel as part of the thing? And, just make sure that they're on board with it, right? To make sure we don't want to blindside them and have them get wind of, hey, did you see, Daryl, did you see they're building a thing on your land? And, and all of a sudden he,
I think
Daryl.
it's important to make it real clear that you're not asking for a commitment.
Yeah, that's it. You just contact them, make sure it's real clear, preferably something in writing, or at least to make sure they're aware of it so that nobody feels like, somebody's trying to go and steal their land.
Are you saying that you would do that or we would do that?
Well, we could talk about that. I don't mind doing it. I think you guys have that familiarity, so they might be more friendly with you approaching them, but we could also do that for you as sort of as your agent, say, on behalf of the town, village, or whatever, whatever you guys prefer.
So as far as money costs, would it be just as cheap to hook on with Troy?
Well,
Time
that's,
to buy a piece of land? I mean, we
yeah,
buy a
that's,
piece of land
yeah.
we wanna own land and then we have to re-subdivide it for these guys. As far as money wise, would it be more efficient to try to hook up with Troy than buying properties to make this work?
Well, yeah, that's what the result of this study is supposed to evaluate and draw some, conclusions. But your point is a very good one because when you have to purchase land, then yeah, that's a cost factor. And so, you take now, I can go, I'm looking at the property map, same as what you're looking at there now, Daryl's, for example, is listed as $159,000. Although he might feel like it's worth twice that. I don't know. This is just what's on the books. So yeah, if you're looking at 300,000 as a purchase price for purchasing land, Roselle is listed. He's 130,000 supposedly, at least on the tax roll. He might feel it's worth a lot more than that, but yeah, that's a factor. Cost of land. Yep. And we are including that, trying to have some basis for including that.
Am I wrong that feel like I'm sensing a little bit of hesitancy on your part to put the Troy thing as one of the options nearer the front than.
No, quite the opposite. I don't want to jump I don't want to jump too far ahead of ourselves, but from the work we're doing right now, we're seeing that Troy is going to be your more economical option.
That's what I feel that way too.
Me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
less disruptive. We won't have to worry about
Asking people
gobbling
about
up some
buying
land.
land,
Yeah, that will then be put into some other use that will forever be something else.
That's right.
When there's a town next door that's
they're looking
probably
for.
kind of excited about
Yeah.
having join with them. They've already got all the infrastructure, but we would just need to get there. I mean, the infrastructure from here to their pumping station is what we have to do.
That's exactly right. And
down the road operating, we
right.
wouldn't have to worry about all that either, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be a cost to us, but.
That's right. You would have to hire a treatment operator. Now, I mean, it's part-time, and you'd probably have a contract agreement with somebody who is the operator at various other facilities, and maybe they come by, you know, once a day or something like that. But you'd have to have an operator, and then there's certain maintenance things that are going to come up, and so yeah, the long term, if you look at the 20-year operations and maintenance, then yeah, all the things you're saying plus the O&M. Yeah, we feel, and I don't want to I don't want to prejudge until we do all of our homework, but that's where it seems to be pointing towards the Troy option as being the more economical.
And I would hate to go ask people to do some testing on their land and, we're telling them we're interested in needing to purchase part of it, but we'd feel very uncomfortable if they don't happen. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, what if we do this? What if we, for the purpose of the comparative alternative, for the local on-site treatment, we use something on Jock's 169 acres. It would be only proper to include some land value with that. We could use what the tax rolls tell us, which isn't a ton of money. The tax rolls have it at 188,000 for 168 acres. It's only $1,000 an acre, but let's say you get 5,000 in land cost, and then you just assume that, and that's our local option. And then if it progressed further into design, you could start to explore if that's the best choice, or maybe across the street at Daryl's or what have you. You could kind of dig deeper, but that might serve as a good sort of, that would enable us to have an on-site alternative. Obviously, there's assumptions about depth to groundwater, and we at least know where the wetland maps are. But at least it would give us what we need to create that local on-site alternative. And we could do it without getting into a whole bunch of, without upsetting any landowners who
Well, that lot right about on Gate is 22 acres roughly,
30.
and but then your other, you got two deeds there, David.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
There's a 22-acre lot on the bigger parcel, and there's smaller parcel next to the cemetery road, it's about 10.5 acres roughly.
okay.
Yeah.
There's two different deeds there, it's not a land trust in that part, the other one is all in land.
So, yeah, the 168 is mostly conserved, but there's, like Richard was just saying, there's actually the lot, the part that you're looking at is really about
22 acres.
22 acres.
Okay. So if that works for you, then we could use that at least to set up the structure of the on-site alternative. Doesn't mean anyone would, go for all that, but at least it gives you the comparatives.
Give you a cost efficiency, which it's cheaper there than going to Troy. Basically.
Yeah.
More.
But
Exactly.
right. And
Yeah. And we're gonna find, I think you're gonna see that Troy is gonna be the preferred option. But like I said, we'll finish doing our homework, but that would enable us to do that comparative.
all right.
Okay.
So how far, I mean, when we have our meeting in December, how far down the road are we talking? I mean, I don't mean, that's probably not saying the right thing, but we've talked about quite a lot of stuff here in the last few minutes. And is that where the 60% meeting is gonna be kind of gearing to that kind of conversation that we've been just having here? And then there's gonna be a 90 and there's gonna be 100 somewhere in the
Right.
broadcast.
Right. So the 60, we will come in with actual alternatives and preliminary price cost estimates for each. And that'll be sort of the gist of that 60% meeting. Like here's option A, here's the option B, here's how the costs compare, and all the pros and cons, questions, and all that kind of stuff.
Right, so if we come up with options for the Troy piece of it, not to drag this out too much here, but there's gonna need to do some conversations with Vermont Land Trust, probably DEC, and ANR. I mean, they're the ones that I worry about us causing sprawl by connecting two towns together.
Right.
So when do those conversations begin? Is it after you make some preliminary numbers, which could really change if the agencies that allow it really get involved and murky the whole? Or am I asking these questions too soon?
Yeah, I think my first thought is we're in communication with Denise at Vermont DEC. She's been, pretty helpful. I would probably start that dialogue with her because these are legitimate concerns, and she can at least speak from the Vermont DEC side, and then as far as like land trust and ANR, perhaps advise us on when, to approach and begin that dialogue as well. Or I should say further it, I suppose.
Right, and then I didn't mean to avoid saying his name, but Tony Bro also owns. Tony and I own the land between Westfield and Troy. So my boundary is down the ways, and then Tony owns all the way to the pump station. Or almost all the way to the pump station up to where the town owns. Which, again, I'm not gonna speak for Tony, but I wouldn't mind at all having the line going through my property on the way there, because it'll be restored to where, to its normal look after the line goes through.
Okay.
Much more open to that. Than having some of my other farmland be gobbled up or something like that.
Okay, well, that's good. We're looking forward to the next meeting with 60%. And I think obviously there's still a lot of questions, but I think this gives us what we need to at least be able to get us to that 60% milestone. And at least have a decent evaluation of alternatives. Not gonna answer all the questions, but it should at least be, get us a decent evaluation to inform the discussion.
Have we heard from Lynette yet at the state?
Oh,
Um,
Lynette, I'm sorry, I said Denise, I apologize.
It's okay. We're working with Denise for the South Here project, but yeah, it's
Oh, right.
Denise. Yeah. I checked in with her last week. I still haven't heard back. I'm going to follow up with another email to see if we can get a date confirmed. She
Okay.
did cancel because they hold office hours bi-weekly, and she did end up canceling the last one, like the ones that were supposed to be held last Friday. So I'm assuming that she was out on Friday, which is why I haven't heard back, but I'll follow up with her and keep you updated when I hear back.
Okay. I just feeling like we need to have as much notice as we can for that meeting.
Yes.
Absolutely. We just waiting for that confirmation from DEC because they are supposed to be present in that meeting, even if it's not in person, it's via Zoom, but we have to have their attendance for the meeting.
We'll bug her and make sure we can pin her down, so we have enough advance notice.
Okay. Very
So,
good.
okay, thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay,
Right.
bye-bye.
Aye.
Hi, Donna.
Aye.
Thank you.
When you're
Thanks.